In this video, we're going to look at dependencies and dependency grammar. In the first cell, I'm importing an LTK, and I've identified this sentence, "I shot an elephant in my pajamas," binding it to the variable sent. In the next cell, just as we did with context-free grammar, we are creating the grammar to identify the relationships in the sentence, and the dependencies in the sentence. So we're using dependency grammar instead of a context-free parser. And so I'm identifying shot and the dependencies of shot. So I shot, the elephant was shot, and the elephant was shot in my pajamas is one dependency relationship. The other, elephant, this is our main word here. We have an elephant, and the elephant is in something, in this case in my pajamas. And here, pajamas has two dependencies. One is in, and the other is my. So if we run this first cell and then the second cell, you see that there are 7 productions with this dependency grammar as we identified it in this second cell. We can then apply this grammar using the projective dependency parser, using this grammar we've identified in cell 2, and apply it to this sentence here. In this case, I'm just splitting the sentence instead of tokenizing as the tokenizer, running it and creating trees, and then taking a look at the tree in each tree. And when I run this, you'll see that it could parse this sentence twice. And in this case, it's not the part of speech that we would recognize in context-free grammar, but it's I shot, and I shot an elephant, and it's showing the relations and the dependencies. In order to do this parsing for all sentences, we would need to go through and create the grammar for every sentence. Instead, we could use a tool such as Spacy that can identify dependencies for us. So in this cell, I'm importing Spacy and importing Displacy from Spacy. And in order to run Spacy, you need to load a language model. In this case, it's the English, and it's the small model I'm using. And identify the sentence that I'd like to parse and run the NLP on this sentence, saving it as a DOC. And then I'm rendering with this style to look at the relationships in the dependency parsing when I run this and show a visualization of the dependencies in the sentence. If I were to change this, correct the spelling here, it changes it down here. Or if I were to remove this sentence and run it again, if I were to remove extremely and run it again, you see it changes the visualization. So that's one way to take a look at the sentence visually. We can also navigate the parse tree that it has created. Let's take a look at another example here. Instead of displaying the tree, we're going to parse the tree and identify the dependencies in the tree. So I'm importing Spacy here and the small English model. And then this time I'm using this sentence here, autonomous cars shift insurance liability toward manufacturers. And then for each token in this document, I am printing these different features here, and then looking for the children of the tokens to look for the grammatical relations. Let's run this, and we see it prints quite a bit of information here that we can use, and it shows the abbreviations for the grammatical relations here. If you'd like to see more about those. So as we scroll down, we can see the grammatical relations abbreviations and what they are and some examples. So this would be a good document to look at to see what is available when we parse a sentence using dependency grammar. So if you'd like to find out more about dependency grammar and the abbreviations that are used for these relations, you can take a look at this link here. So we can parse these trees to identify information such as the number of dependencies for each word. Let's take a look at this cell. I'm importing Spacy and the English model, creating a new sentence this time, processing it, saving it as a DOC, and then I'm printing the dependencies for these tokens at position 2. In this case, 0, 1, 2, I'm looking for the dependencies for the word apple. And I'm looking to the left and then to the right. And you'll see as I print this, I can print the actual words as well as the number of each dependency here. So there are two for apples, a bright apple and a red apple. And the apples are on the tree looking to the context to the right. So this can be helpful in describing dependencies in a sentence.